Hello everyone, this is grade 6, module 4, lesson 33, problem set. The directions at the top state, choose the numbers, if any, that make the equation or inequality true from the following set of numbers. 0, 3, 4, 5, 9, 13, 18, and 24. So we're going to use these numbers to kind of help us figure out our questions below. So let's start in. I'm going to take a look at 3 first. So we have 4g, or 4 times g, equals 36. Now, there's a couple different ways to solve this. We could do a tape diagram for it, or some other type of model. We could do inverse operation, or we could plug in every single one of these numbers for g until we figure out what the answer is. All are valid processes. I'm going to show inverse operation. I'll show it 2 different ways. If I divide by 4, because I know 4 divided by 4 is going to get me 1, which will just get me g, because again, I'm trying to isolate that variable and figure out what g equals, or could equal. And what I do to one side, if I divide by 4, I have to do to the other side to keep this equation balanced, to keep these expressions equivalent to each other. So 36 divided by 4 is going to get me 9. So g has to equal 9 to make this statement true, because it says equals. Now, another way I could show this, we know that it's g times 4. I would then divide by 4, because I know that when I multiply by 4 and then divide by 4, I'm going to be back with my original value of g. So now it'd be 36 divided by 4, because again, I have to balance my equation and keep these expressions equivalent to each other. So again, g equals 9. So that's 2 ways to show it algebraically. So g is going to equal 9, and as I see up here, that's the only number or that's going to make this statement true. So I'll take a look at 4. Very similar. I have 4g, or 4 times g, is greater than or equal to 36. So when I look at this statement, this inequality, it means that this side of the equation, or of the inequality, needs to be equal to 36 or greater than 36 to make it true. So I already know 9 is going to work because it's going to make it equal to 36. So really, I don't even have to solve this, but I'm going to anyways to prove it, because in math, it's not about getting the right answer, it's about proving the right answer. So I know that 9 will get me 36, because I just showed it up above at 3. And any of the numbers greater than 9 are going to make it greater than 36. So I already know my answer. It's going to be a set of 9, 13, 18, and 24. Any of those numbers are going to make this statement true. And the way I know it is, again, I could divide by 4 like I did before, and g is greater than or equal to 9, meaning it can be, g can equal 9 or anything bigger than 9. So that's my first set with it, and if I want to draw this, it can equal 9 or anything greater than 9. So all of these numbers going up, but since they gave us a set of numbers to pick from up here in the directions, I know it's 9, 13, 18, and 24. So now we'll take a look down at the number 5, and this one I'll do a diagram for, so we can show a couple different ways. So 1/4 y, or 1/4 times y, equals 7. Now, I could solve this algebraically, and I'll start with that, but I'll also show the model. If I'm going to multiply it by a variable, a fraction by a variable, or a fraction by a number, I want to try to make them same form, meaning fractions. In order to do that, I can put this variable over 1 because I know y divided by 1 equals y. So y over 1 is the same as y. So if I multiply across, I'm going to end up with y on top because 1 times y is y. 4 times 1 is 4. And that's going to equal 7. Now, I know that y over 4, or y fourths, is the same as y divided by 4. So y divided by 4 equals 7. I know that in order to do this, I can do y divided by 4, and I can multiply by 4, because if I divide y by 4 and then multiply it by 4, I'm going to end up with y. And what I do to one side of the equation, I have to do to the other to keep it balanced or equivalent. So y is going to equal 28 when I do my 7 times 4. That's one way I could solve this out. And if it is 28, I know that choose the numbers, if any, that make the equation or inequality true. Well, none of them are going to make it true because 28 is not up in my set. So none of those numbers are going to make it true. Now, here is where the diagram can come into place. 1/4 y equals 7. I know that if I draw my tape diagram, the whole thing is y. I know that if I break it into fourths, and it says 1/4 times y, or 1/4 of y equals 7. So 1/4 of it will be 7. Well, if I know that each of these represent the same value, each of my partitions, then I know this is 7, that's 7, that's 7, and that's 7. So I have 4 7s, which will get me 28. So y is going to equal 28. And again, it's showing that none of these values up in my statement are going to work because 28 isn't one of those values, which is okay because of this statement right here. Choose the numbers, if any, meaning if there are any that will work. Hope this helps, and good luck on your problem set.